Number 14, Kendrick Lamar, the second part of the three gatekeepers of the new generation of hip-hop. We just reviewed J. Cole, so by now, it's probably no surprise who will be ranked next. Anyway, K-Dot has already been viewed as one of the most influential figures in hip-hop because of his polarizing work of Good Kid, Mad City. And around 05, when hip-hop was becoming rap music and the ringtone era was beginning to reshape the landscape of what an MC was, his first mixtape was in 03 that earned him a deal with TDE, and in 05 they dropped a 26-track mixtape, I think it was called Training Day, that gained instant recognition, landing him a spot to open for the Game and feature on a track of his around 07. Fast forward to 2010 and the buzz is growing of this new Compton kid. By now, he's been touring with super successful independent artist Tech Nine. And I'll say this, I don't know how he does it, but he has a mass following out of Kansas City. Tech Nine I'm talking about. And a lot of white people seem to like his music. And when white people like your music, the sales are gonna show. Good for you. Anyway, during this time, his mixtape Overly Dedicated was circulating and it actually made it to the Billboard. Ignorance is Bliss was the flagship song that spoke to the hypocrisy of gang violence and gangster rap with the message of we know better so we should do better. This caught their eyes and ears of Dre. And quiet as kept, J. Cole was the actual liaison of Kendrick and Dre meeting. In 2011, he was featured in the XXL freshman class alongside of many notable MCs like Meek Mill, Sci-Hi the Prince, another underrated dope MC, Fred the Godson, R.I.P., Mac Miller, R.I.P., and Big Crit. This preceded his release of his next project, Section 80. This received mad press and leading up to Snoop and Game already crowning him the new king of the West. Then he signed with Dre in Aftermath. So yeah, the hype has been built. October 2012, he finally dropped what some would consider the West Coast Illmatic, the smash album Good Kid, Mad City. Debuted number 2 on the Billboards and was heavy in rotation with the lead singles Poetic Justice and Swimming Pools. The album continued to grow in popularity with his performances on SNL and the David Letterman Show, which earned him many accolades. But the proof is in the pudding. This was a masterpiece of work. I mean, the whole idea of this album being one continuous story was genius. One song built off the other and built up to the climactic conclusion of how the inner city can really dictate the outcomes of a lot of young urban youth facing the pressures of society at a young age. Come on, man, this album got nominated for like 5 Grammys, but didn't win nothing. The worst part about it is that he lost Album of the Year to Macklemore. Macklemore, y'all, no doubt he got snubbed. And I'm not gonna lie, I was late to really listen to the album in its entirety, but when I did, I made sure the settings was appropriate and I listened with all of my senses. And it stayed in heavy rotation for a good minute. I still have some of those songs sprinkled in my workout playlist as we speak. What's really amazing about this album is that it's still charting 10 years later. He followed that up with a conscious effort of To Pimp a Butterfly, and there was no doubt he was suffering from temporary Baduism. I thought the album was okay, but it debuted atop of the charts and set a then new Spotify record for the most streams ever in a week. And the Grammys had other plans when it came around to make a decision on his album this time. They made up for their blunder by awarding this Album of the Year. And in 2017, he drops the next project called Damn. This was a huge bounce back from the Butterfly album. He recovered from Baduism and gave us joints like Fear, Triple X, Humble, Element, God, Duckworth, and DNA, topping the charts and going platinum, and earning Album of the Year awards from the Grammys and the American Music Awards and the BET Awards, just to name a few. Fast forward to 2022. After appearing on the Super Bowl halftime show in May of that year, he dropped his 5th studio album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, another concept theme album centered around his mental health and other personal struggles. It was basically like therapy session on wax, if you ask me. Still dope content, you know, tackling topics like COVID, the LGBT community, toxic relationships, and generational trauma. It opened at number 1 on the Billboards, over 60 million streams first day, first to reach 1 billion streams on Spotify, and guess what, y'all? Another Album of the Year Grammy. You can see how some people will put him at the top of most lists with the accomplishments and the impact, the musical influences, lyricism, and conceptual creations, laced with amazing storytelling. I think if he was old enough to be active in the 90s, then you might have a case.
It's right here, all right?